So, Merry Meet. So I want to review a book. The book I want to review is Classical Feng Shui for Romance, Sex and Relationships. It's by Master Denise Liotta Dennis. It's published by Llewellyn. So, generally what this is, it's a book about Feng Shui that focuses specifically on the bedroom and how to improve your relationships and your sex life. But it focuses more really on relationships. So let's see what the book contains. And before I do that, this does have a little bit of that artificial velvety cover, but it's not so bad as many of the other books from Llewellyn lately. So, I mean, this is tolerable. And the cover is quite pretty. So, yeah. There is a picture of the author, if you want to see how that lady looks. There she is. So, as usual, when I review books, I start by just telling you what the book contains. And it has an acknowledgement, which you basically know what is. An introduction, but you also basically know what it is. Basically, introduction to the subject. Then you have part 1, Feng Shui Basics, which basically tells you, well, yeah, the basics about Feng Shui in general and how to use it for relationships and sex. Then we have, and then part 1 is parted into several chapters, and these chapters are Feng Shui, Sex and Relationships, the art, science and basics of classical Feng Shui. That's a pretty good chapter. Of course, I do recommend that you get a book, a starter book on Feng Shui, because one such little chapter for about 15 pages or so, I think that was, cannot tell you everything that you need to know, but for using this book, it tells you what you need. Then we have part 3, Adultery, Affairs and Divorce, Feng Shui to Avoid. It's basically, Feng Shui believes that, of course, everything is energy, and that how you have things like, for example, that shelf there is pretty bad Feng Shui because it's messy as hell. So basically, what symbols you have around you, what items you have around you, how things are placed, that affects the flow of energy around you and in your home, and also then in you, and by that you attract various things. So they believes that, for example, if you place things in the right way, you can help prevent the energies that would lead somebody to cheat on you. That does not mean that you control their mind. If they really want to cheat, they will. But very often, cheating, for example, comes from a problem in the relationship, and Feng Shui can then help you find ways to nip these problems in the bud. The Asian systems are based on not fixing problems that have already arisen, but rather stopping problems from ever happening. So yeah, moving on. Part 2, 8 mentions. Then it has for using 8 mentions for remarkable relationship, and 5 life Gua zodiac personalities. Basically, it has a system for a Feng Shui system that works very well for relationships and so on and so forth. And then one have about the zodiac, basically the Asian zodiac, and how they fit together. So it worked pretty well. Now, part 3, Flying Stars. Then we have using flying stars to understand relationships, Feng Shui secrets to enhance romantic love and relationships, period 8 charts how to extract love, prosperity and harmony, and period 7 charts how to extract love, prosperity, and harmony. We have a glossary of terms, an appendix, a bibliography, Feng Shui resources, and index. So yeah, the book, I like this book. And one of the reasons I like this book is that it knows its bounds. A lot of books can, for example, be, let's say we have a book on aromatic oils used in magic, and then they have covered so many other topics instead of focusing on what the book's about. This book here focuses on how to use Feng Shui to better your relationships and your sex life. That's it. It gives you the knowledge and tools you need to use that book specifically. It doesn't bite over more than it can chew, and that is quite nice. I have not tested out these methods as I haven't had the energy to rearrange my home and such currently, but they look quite interesting, and the book is a nice read. It's obviously that the author is quite knowledgeable, and yeah, it gives you a lot of good advice. Now, in a way, this is a stripped down beginner's guide to Feng Shui. Let me see if I can find some way to explain this. Oh yes. You know how the PlayStation is basically a stripped down PC that has then have a better sound card and a better graphics cards to make it specifically do games extremely well, but of course it doesn't do the other things that the computer does. This has the same thing. It's a stripped down Feng Shui book, but that has a strong focus on how to use these methods for sex and relationships, and as such it has both a pretty narrow scope, but that is also the book's strength because it doesn't get lost in everything else. If you have never ever used Feng Shui for anything, you see this book in your local bookshop and think, oh yeah, that seems like something for me. You can pick up this book, use these methods here, and be quite successful at it. However, it will not teach you the basics of Feng Shui like a more generalized beginner's book will. It does actually extremely well at sticking to its topic and giving you just the tools you need, which is a reason enough to like this book. Now, it is fairly thick. Let's see how many pages it is. Oh, come on, there's some advertisements in the back. It is 312 pages, including the index, and the index is quite good. And yeah, it's pretty well written. I have no complaints. Now, I actually recommend this book over a lot of love spell books because, for the most part, this just deals with putting energies, basically affecting energies to avoid problems or to attract what you want. It is much less. First of all, I think it's easier to succeed with this for a beginner than to pick up a love spell, because while I, as a witch, also see Feng Shui as a type of magic, basically here things do, the energy runs for you. You don't need to have the same knowledge of how to work with the occult, because you only need to change your environment so energy can flow in a way that's beneficial to you. In addition, this is pretty ethical. There are not a lot in here about how to forcing somebody against their will. It's more about how to either attract what you want or to avoid attracting energies that can lead to a result you do not want, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think this is a very good beginner's book. I don't think that somebody who has a lot of knowledge in Feng Shui will have will learn a lot of new things in here, because like I said, it's more of a stripped down version. For me, it worked very well because while I have some knowledge of Feng Shui, I am definitely not an expert there. So I found it very useful, but I think that if somebody has been studying Feng Shui for years and years, they might want to skip this, because I don't think there's a lot of new information in here for them. But it's definitely a good book for somebody who just wants to work spiritually on their love life, and I think this gives you a lot of good tools. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the book. It's pretty good. I'll give it 7 to 8 out of 10. And that is my review of Classical Feng Shui for Romance, Sex and Relationship by Master Denise Liotta Dennis. It's a good book. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this review. Have a great day, and blessed be.